Elite Facts presents
10 Famous Hoaxes.
10.
Loch Ness Monster. We've all seen the infamous image of Nessie, and even though it's pretty laughable to look at now, back in the 1930s, people were easy to convince. The image was revealed as a hoax in the 1990s. The photographer, a gynecologist named Robert Kenneth Wilson, never claimed it to be a picture of the monster. He merely claimed to have photographed something in the water. The photo is often cropped to make the monster seem huge, while the original uncropped shot shows the other end of the loch and the monster in the center.
9.
Fiji mermaid. The Fiji mermaid was presented as a mummified body of an unknown creature that was half mammal and half fish. The original exhibit was shown around the United States, however, it was lost in the 1860s when Barnum's Museum caught fire. The exhibit has since been acquired by Harvard University's Peabody Museum of Archaeology and Ethnology and is currently housed in the museum's attic storage area. What makes this a hoax is that the mermaid was the work of an Indonesian craftsman using either papier-mâché and materials from exotic fish, or the tail of a fish and a torso of a baby orangutan, stitched together with the head of a monkey.
8.
Alien autopsy. In the 1990s, Ray Santilli revealed black and white film footage that shocked the world. It was purported to be an actual autopsy of an alien that was recovered from a 1947 flying saucer crash near Roswell, New Mexico. The authentic-looking footage sparked a debate that continues today, despite the fact that it was admitted to be fake. In 1995, the footage was broadcast in a TV special and was repeated twice, each time to huge ratings. It was revealed in 2006, however, that the footage was not real, but was restoration of footage he claimed to have seen in 1992. The original footage, he said, degraded and was unusable, forcing him to recreate it.
7.
War of the Worlds. This hoax is actually amazing, as this pretty much convinced the entire nation that what was being broadcast over the radio was 100% real. On the evening of October 30th, 1938, a news broadcast went out over the radio that shook the nation. Alien spacecrafts from Mars had landed on Earth, and Martian invaders were attacking humans as the United States Army fought back. As stated, this broadcast was a work of fiction and was, in fact, identified as such at the beginning of this radio play of the famous H.G. Wells novel, The War of the Worlds. Unfortunately, it was so realistic that people who tuned in after the beginning believed it was really happening. Mass panic and frenzy ensued, and many across the nation were convinced the end was near.
6.
The Cardiff Giant. During the 1860s, a giant was uncovered while digging for a well. The 10-foot petrified giant seemed to verify passages in Genesis that talked of giants walking the earth. The discovery was a sensation, and crowds from all over gathered to see this petrified man. Well, it turns out that this giant was a hoax, as it was 100% fake. The Cardiff Giant was born from a conversation a New York tobacco dealer by the name of George Hull had overheard between evangelical ministers about giants roaming the earth. He commissioned a remarkably realistic statue made out of gypsum stone that had blue veins running through it that had looked similar to human veins. It just shows that quality goes a long way when it comes to pulling off hoaxes.
5.
Crop circles. In the 1970s, mysterious crop circles began appearing overnight in wheat fields all over England. These crop circles were even more suspicious as they had very elaborate designs, were perfectly circular, intricate, and especially beautiful to look at. Observers were convinced they were too intricate, too perfect to have been made by human means, and that they were signs of alien beings trying to communicate with us. Eventually, in 1991, a couple of pranksters by the names of Doug Bauer and Dave Chorley admitted to creating the crop circles using simple ropes, hats, and wires as their only tools.
4.
Pillow Man. The search for the missing link has gone on for what feels like the longest time. If man evolved from ape, then where is the link between the two? In 1912, it was announced that at last the missing link was found. It was named Eoanthropus dawsoni by Charles Dawson. The remains of this creature were dug up in Piltdown, England. The great minds of the time all agreed that the skull was authentic and was proof of the link between man and monkey. In 1953, however, fluorine tests revealed that the skull was only 50,000 years old, making it too modern to be the missing link between man and ape.
3,
Paul is dead. Celebrity death hoaxes are as common as they come these days. However, back in the 1960s, it was a huge deal if a big name showed up in the obituaries. In September of 1969, rumors swept the world that Paul McCartney had died and was replaced with a look-alike. The story began when a writer for the Drake University newspaper pointed out various clues to Paul's death in Beatles album artwork and tracks. Eventually, McCartney was able to clear up the mess in December of 1969 by attending an interview with the newspaper publishers themselves.
2,
The Hitler Diaries. In 1983, an East German magazine published what it pronounced was the first installment of previously undiscovered diaries written by Adolf Hitler. At the time, it was reported that apparently it was a part of a huge number of documents that were found in the wreckage of an air crash in 1945. Aware of the risk they were taking, the magazine, with Newsweek and The Times, who were bidding for serialization rights, had the diaries examined by handwriting experts from Germany, France, and the United States in order to confirm their authenticity. All came back positive, and 2 historians were also convinced. However, it was too good to be true. After enough skepticism had mounted, 2 weeks following the sale, a West German newspaper revealed that modern stationery had been used to create the forgeries, while further handwriting tests proved definite inaccuracies. This took a huge hit on the magazine publisher in terms of staff, as a good portion resigned following this discovery.
1,
Balloon Boy. In Colorado 5 years ago, it was reported that a 6-year-old boy named Falcon was stuck inside a gas balloon filled with helium and was set to float away into the atmosphere. He flew, they said, for more than an hour and covered well over 50 miles. When the balloon landed, however, Falcon was nowhere to be found. This caused the authorities to worry even further, as they thought that maybe he had fallen out of this balloon sometime during his 50-mile travel. After an intense manhunt of the area around Falcon's house and flight path, the boy was discovered hiding in his attic. His reason, he said, was that his father had told him to stay there. Judging from what the boy had said, it would seem that his parents planned this whole hoax as a stunt to gain more publicity for their upcoming appearance on the TV show Wife Swap. After discovering that this was just a huge waste of time, the Heaney family faced several charges and spent almost 4 months in prison between them, as well as being handed a $36,000 restitution bill. Well, at least the Heaneys were able to get some sort of publicity out of the mess.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more Elite Facts.